Chapter 1. Thanksgiving, Springfield, Illinois, 8 months later. I'm just saying that the system is broken, and it's time we tried something else, that's all. Damn right the system's broken. If it wasn't, the country wouldn't keep electing presidents who hate America. You can want America to be better without hating it. None of what you mean by better requires changing everything that made this country great in the first place. My God, Robbie, do you really think less than half of the population can go on carrying everybody else forever? If all the rich people who can afford it will just pay their fair share— Fair share? You mean everything they have? Because even if they did that, it wouldn't keep this country from going farther in the hole for even one day. Not one damned day. Ashley looked over at Tobey, shrugged slightly, and mouthed the words, "I'm sorry." He gave a tiny shake of his head to let her know it was all right. He was used to hearing her father and brother argue. It went on at every gathering of the Parker family, and Tobey had assured her he considered it a feature, not a bug. Norm Parker was an electrician, an old-school guy who would have been right at home as a member of the greatest generation. His youngest son, Robbie, was a computer whiz who made 3 or 4 times the money his dad did, a fact of which Norm was quite proud. Politically, however, they were poles apart. Emily Parker, Norm's wife and Robbie's mother, said, "Speaking of one day, can't you two stop fighting for one day? It's Thanksgiving, for goodness sake." "Holidays never stopped them before, did they, Mom?" Ashley asked. "We always have to sit at the dinner table and listen to those two butt heads." Tobey said, "Hey, you shouldn't call your father and brother names like that." Ashley burst out laughing. Her 10-year-old niece, Danielle, said, "I don't see what's so funny." "Hush, dear," Danielle's mother, Betsy, said. "Eat your cranberry sauce." "Don't like cranberry sauce," the little girl said, pouting. "I'll take it," her twin brother Danny said. Betsy slapped his reaching hand back and told him, "Eat your own food." Family life, Tobey thought dryly. Wasn't it wonderful? Actually, he answered his own question. It was. Annoying at times, but it still beat the alternative. He looked around the long table, Norm at one end, Emily at the other, him and Ashley and Robbie on one side, Ashley's older brother Jeff, his wife, and the twins on the other side. Growing up, Thanksgiving dinners had consisted of Tobey and the old man eating whatever they could find at the grocery store off of old-fashioned folding TV trays that had been in the family for generations, while they sat in front of the TV watching football. The old man, Tobey's grandfather, chain-smoked cigarettes and drank beer, and by evening he'd be drunk and half asleep. But there was always food, always a roof over their heads, and Tobey hadn't been one to complain. His home life sure didn't give him any reasons not to enlist, though, once he'd stuck it out for a couple of years of junior college. He didn't want to go on with his education. Maybe in a few years, after he got out, he'd told himself. Well, he was out now, and it was time to start thinking about those things. And a lot of other things as well, the most important being the beautiful blonde young woman sitting beside him. Norm said, "Seriously, Tobey, can you believe the way the media and the politicians have brainwashed this kid?" He waved a fork at Robbie. "I'm not brainwashed, Dad," Robbie said. "I just know how to think for myself." "Think for yourself? You believe every lie those lefties spout. Haven't you ever learned anything about history? Don't you know that communism is responsible for more evil and more deaths than anything else in the history of the world?" Robbie rolled his eyes and said, "You can't just yell about communist boogeymen and refuse to see how income inequality and the tyranny of the 1% have ruined this country. True socialism has never been tried." "Sure it has, and it always turns into a dictatorship. Ever hear of the Soviet Union? Ever hear of Cuba?" Norm grimaced and shook his head. "Oh, that's right, they don't teach anything in the universities anymore, except how those places were workers' paradises. They leave out all the stuff about gulags and mass executions. Wouldn't want to upset any of the students or hurt their delicate little feelings. I guess they should start posting trigger warnings in all the delivery rooms, so babies can start learning to be victims as soon as they're born." Robbie waved his hands and said, "Now you've just gone off into madness. Why don't you save your rants for another time, Dad? We're trying to eat Thanksgiving dinner here." "Yeah, well, I'm not sure there's much to give thanks for in this country anymore." The genuinely bitter edge in Norm's voice shut down conversation around the table for a few minutes. The only sounds were the clink of silverware.